The Liquidator, who oversaw the bankruptcy cases of Katona and Grobbelaar, has vowed to investigate a collapsed Liverpool development where investors have lost considerable amounts of money. Louise Britton will jointly oversee the affairs of the collapsed Baltic House development in the Baltic Triangle, which has been left a concrete shell after work stopped last year. That development was set to be part of a complex of apartments including a street art gallery, including works by Banksy. But work stalled and controversial developer North Point Global eventually announced it was pulling out of Liverpool. That left investors, many of whom were from the Far East, fearing for the money, fears which now look to have been realized. Baltic House, Norfolk Street. It's just one of several stalled developments across the city that have been covered at length by The Echo and have attracted global attention. The company's house website shows Baltic House Developments is in compulsory liquidation. It says the case is now being handled by the official receiver of Liverpool and by Ms. Britton and Matthew Eichhorn, both of Wilkins Kennedy Chartered Accountants. Ms. Britton said, "We have been appointed as liquidators to realize the assets of Baltic House Developments and to investigate the company's previous dealings on behalf of the creditors who have lost considerable funds." Ms. Britton is one of Britain's best-known insolvency practitioners. She also acted as a trustee in the cases of Scottish football star Colin Hendry, actor and pop star Adam Faith, and disgraced politicians Jonathan Aitken and Neil Hamilton. The Wilkins Kennedy site said, "She is head of contentious insolvency and specializes in high-profile fraudulent and litigious insolvencies, international asset tracing and civil and criminal recovery cases." Katona on loose women. Last year, The Echo spoke to two Hong Kong-based investors in Baltic House about their investments in Liverpool. One investor, who asked to be called Mrs. Wong, said her husband had invested tens of thousands in a Baltic House flat and was worried he would lose his money. She said the problems facing stalled developments in Liverpool were ruining the name of Liverpool, ruining the reputation of the UK as a safe place, and when she and another investor were asked about Liverpool as a place to invest, they just laughed. A CGI of North Point Global Development Baltic House, part of the gallery scheme in the Baltic Triangle. Image publicity handout. Titan, the Northwest's organized crime fighting squad, has not confirmed which projects it was considering investigating. And we reported that one Hong Kong legislator had warned that investors could lose a total of £90 million on stalled Liverpool projects. During our investigation, a spokesman for NPG said Baltic House had been sold and that Baltic House Developments was in liquidation and that there will be a loss to buyers. The company declined to comment further on the liquidation. In March 2017, The Echo revealed that Peter McInnes, the public face of developer North Point Global, had faced allegations that he was a money launderer for criminals. North Point Global was developing city schemes including New Chinatown and North Point in Pall Mall. Mr. McInnes said he had never been arrested, questioned or charged over the claims and said they were misleading and untrue. Also in March 2017, The Echo raised questions about how developers were vetted before taking over key sites across the city. We reported that Mr. McInnes had previously been hit by almost £2.5 million of court judgments. We revealed that MC McInnes had meetings with top town hall chiefs, including regeneration bosses Nick Kavanagh and Mark Kitts and Deputy Mayor Councillor Anna Byrne. And we also reported that work had stopped on NPG's key Liverpool sites. In April 2017 we reported that Built Group had been placed into liquidation. It came 5 months after NPG announced it was replacing Built on its Liverpool developments. and it followed the collapse in 2016 of PhD1, the first contractor to work on New Chinatown. The week after Build's collapse, the Echo reported that a deal to sell the site had been called off. Earlier in the year, NPG had confirmed it was in talks with Your Housing Group over a planned sale of the whole scheme, but now the firm said the deal was off despite 5 months of talks. In July 2017, Deputy Mayor Anne O'Byrne told the Echo the council was working furiously to help NPG's Chinatown development company sell its interests in the site to a new developer. She said the move was needed to safeguard overseas investors who had put money into the scheme. Later in July, the council said it could put a compulsory purchase order (CPO) on New Chinatown. An official report said, in the case of Chinatown Developments Limited, major fraud cases in Hong Kong involving the sales agent has had a massive impact on sales. To the extent that works on site have stalled and the contractor gone into administration, and it said only a new developer could bring the scheme forward. Later in July, the Echo reported that the council had started legal action against Chinatown Development Company over £950,000 it said it was owed. And Deputy Mayor Councillor Anne O'Byrne said the authority had passed information about the development to the National Crime Agency. The directors of CDC immediately launched a furious attack on the council. They accused the council of carrying out a witch hunt against them, said any accusation of criminal conduct was repugnant, and said recent council statements had caused significant harm to the company. At the very end of July, North Point Global said it was pulling out of its Liverpool projects because its reputation was tainted and damaged beyond salvage. In a 1,100-word statement, it blamed the Echo's reporting on Peter McInnes and the vitriolic actions of the council for damaging its reputation, and said it would sell its city projects including Baltic House in the Baltic Triangle. Following NPG's shock announcement, in August 2017, the Echo reported on the firm's stalled developments across the city. As well as looking at New Chinatown, we also looked at the £90 million North Point scheme in Pall Mall, which has been left as a concrete and steel skeleton. Baltic House in the Baltic Triangle is similarly stalled, while work had not yet begun on the neighbouring Berry House and Vienna House schemes or on the associated street art gallery. Also, in August 2017, the Echo reported on the fears of investors in Hong Kong and China who had bought apartments in NPG schemes. Two Hong Kong-based investors who spoke to the Echo said people had invested tens of thousands in the city as they thought the UK was a safe place in which to invest. And they said NPG's stalled developments were ruining the name of Liverpool as a place to invest. Later that month, Liverpool's Lib Dem leader Richard Kemp told the Echo he wanted a review of all of Liverpool Council's development dealings after he slammed the authority for its handling of New Chinatown. He said, "The reputation of Liverpool is being ruined in the eyes of potential investors all over the world." Labour's councillor Anne O'Byrne hit back, saying Councillor Kemp was talking the city down. Later in August, the Echo revealed that famous Banksy artworks that had been taken down from Liverpool walls would not be returning to the city following NPG's decision to quit the city. The Rat and the Love Plane were set to be put up in the street art gallery planned for NPG's Berry House scheme, but NPG said they would not be returning here after the adverse publicity the group had faced. Consultancy Samuel Bailon and Partners, which works with NPG, told the Echo in September that 5 Banksy works had been sold to an anonymous Qatari buyer for $5.2 million. Those works included the Rat above, and the Love Plane below. SBP said the buyer will be exhibiting the works, along with many others, across the Middle East very soon. Mayor Joe Anderson insisted the council cannot be blamed for the collapse of Liverpool's new Chinatown project, saying if the council had to check every development in the city it would be here till Dick docked. We also reported on the anger of Chinese investors, who said Liverpool's development failures were damaging the city's image. Assistant Mayor Gary Miller also defended himself against criticism from investors. In November 2017, the Echo was at the High Court in Manchester as NPG's Chinatown Development Company faced off against Liverpool Council in a battle over a £950,000 debt and a bid by the council to wind up CDC. Peter McInnes, pictured, attended the hearing. The following month it was revealed CDC had won its court battle to secure an injunction against the authority. Council slammed CDC's delaying tactics, and said it still wanted to take control of the scheme, but CDC said it would vigorously defend any further court action and would continue its efforts to sell the site. Residents living near the stalled new Chinatown scheme in Liverpool told the Echo the abandoned development site was making their lives a misery by attracting rats and litter. Owner CDC vowed to make improvements and promised the site would soon be sold. The Pinnacle company behind the Quadrant student accommodation block in Everton collapsed into administration in January 2018, almost 2 years after building work stalled. Administrator KPMG said there were insufficient funds available to complete the build. The Echo visited Chinatown ahead of Chinese New Year to see what the future held for this famous area. People we spoke to said they were saddened at the state of the new Chinatown site, and hoped it could soon be brought back to life. An Echo investigation into the stalled Paramount building revealed why the huge hulk by Lime Street station had been stalled for so long. We also investigated the network of connections between developers and contractors at stalled city sites, and heard from a neighbor furious at the state of the building. And we reported on how fire chiefs responded to safety concerns about the building. In March 2018, Great George Street Developments announced that it had bought Chinatown Development Company, and with it the new Chinatown scheme. GGSD vowed to get the development restarted and said it would talk to investors. But a group of investors under the name New Chinatown Buyers Limited responded with fury, demanding the money back. The same month, we reported that Liverpool Council was due £4.4 million in outstanding fees from developers under so-called Section 106 agreements. That included more than £380,000 due from Pinnacle for the Paramount scheme and the £950,000 the council was claiming from Chinatown Development Company, as well as another £105,000 for North Point Global's Pall Mall scheme. In April, we reported that the Pinnacle company behind our scheme to turn the upper floors of Victoria House into apartments was set to go into administration. The Echo had seen emails from investors worried about where the money had gone. Also in April we revealed Pinnacle Student Developments Liverpool, which was behind the Quadrant in Everton, had run out of cash after taking £11.6 million in deposits from overseas buyers. The firm went into administration with insufficient funds to complete the building. It collapsed owing £13.5 million. In May we reported that the administrators of Pinnacle's Victoria House scheme had put the building up for sale and said they expected strong interest. Lisa Marie Moxon and John Allen Carpenter also revealed that more than 40 flats in the scheme had been sold off-plan to investors for £2.2 million, but that Pinnacle Residential Liverpool had gone into administration because there were insufficient funds to get the scheme finished. Later in May, Pinnacle Student Developments, which was developing the Paramount next to Lime Street Station, became the third Pinnacle development in the city to go into administration. When the Echo investigated the Paramount in February, parent firm Pinnacle said it still hoped the scheme would be finished. But administrators from Quantuma were called in on May 10. In an exclusive investigation at the end of May, the Echo revealed detectives were considering whether to mount a probe into investment fraud following complaints over a series of collapsed developments across Liverpool. Investigators at Titan, the Northwest's organised crime fighting squad, are poring over details of failed schemes that are threatening to leave investors around £90 million out of pocket. Great George Street Developments announced it was holding an open day in June 2018 where people could find more about its plans for New Chinatown, including a linear park, and improved links to the Baltic Triangle. They also said the development would have a new name. GGSD said it was talking to investors, but some remain angry and are still demanding the money back. Liverpool's famous Banksy Rat, which was to go in a street art gallery in North Point Global's gallery scheme, was the same month taken to London to be put on show at a trendy bar. The Echo investigated how the work had left the city. Syncura, which manages the work, told us the RATR in the Love plane could one day return to Liverpool temporarily. In June 2018, the Echo reported businessman Lee Spencer, who played a key role in the New Chinatown development, had been a director of 4 businesses which had all gone into liquidation before the council backed New Chinatown. The council defended its position on why background checks were not carried out, while Mr. Spencer said he was the victim of an insurance market downturn.